Hi all, so this is installation of the JVC KWM785BW double DIN head unit. It's got wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. Yeah, fairly good unit. So the bezel that I got with that for that is this one here. It's a Metra kit. It does the 2006 to 2008, so that's the NC1. You need a different kit for the NC2 and 3. Also I got this Connects CTS MZ01 2.2. So it's the whole, well, mostly the whole shebang for the wiring you'll need. So that looks like this. So that's the main plug that's going to plug into the factory harness. The main difference between the Bose, this Bose one, and the non-Bose is this extra piece that goes in, which reduces the output on the speaker wires there. That's the output reducer there. So if you have a non-Bose, the kit would look the same, it just wouldn't have that. This kit comes with this interface to do the steering wheel remote. Now it's possible that you don't need this kit with this little black box, but it's just, from what I gathered, it's easier with this. This just connects. I tried doing it with so you need the patch lead. So this is the patch lead which plugs into this end, so the kit doesn't come with this lead here. Okay, so this is sort of specific to your radio, but this lead here, which is, I ordered the multi-lead 0.2, but this one seems to be the CT multi-lead 0.5. Didn't seem to be any difference, and it's got instructions there for JVC. So yeah, it becomes more apparent when you read these things, but of what to do. But what I found, I thought it was going to be a plug and play once you follow the instructions for the JVC. The steering wheel controls didn't work. I had to program them manually. I'll show you that a bit later, but it worked fine. So I didn't have to cut any of these wires. I did cut some because it said for the JVC you had to cut 2 of them and leave the orange one connected, and then you had to join up key 1, blah blah blah. I found that all I had to do was plug this puppy into the steering remote, and it allowed me to program them, program all these in. So that's why those are connected back up with tape, and these are no longer hooked up. So you also need a lead that goes from your stereo, in my case JVC, to ISO connectors, which is that, and then you plug the reducer into that, in between that lead. Okay, so that lead basically has this plug and this plug, and it plugs in this from here. From here is the lead that you buy, that lead here. So basically what I'm showing you here is a combination of 3. So you've got the main one, you've got the patch lead that plugs into the other side of that box into your steering remote, and you've got the JVC to ISO connector here. Alright, so that's what you need. The instructions for the aftermarket dash plate, they were pretty self-explanatory, and I'll show you that after. Now I'm just gonna, okay, so I've got a few wires to connect up. what we've got our parking switch, so that's the park brake, so that's going to just earth. I've got one here that goes to earth, so I'll plug that in. There's a microphone which goes to the microphone, which I ran and put it up top there. I've also got a video cable for the rear cam, so I had a rear camera lying around, so I'll show you that at the back later. So that's for that just needs to be powered, so that's powered. What else have we got? We've got microphone here that plugs into there, steering remote plugs into there. The reverse, so hook that up if you're hooking up a reverse camera. There's a lead that there goes into, it either goes to your reverse lights, or if you down in the bottom left hand footwell, if you find the red cable, red with a yellow stripe cable, that is the reverse. So I've hooked in down there, pretty easy to remove that panel just under the fuse box, and so that's going round and obviously and coming out there. That's already hooked up. Got our aerial input. That's about it. Oh, we've got GPS antenna, so I've just got that that black box in the front. That's the GPS antenna. So now I'm gonna, I mean I've had this going, I know it works, but now I'm gonna go and hook it all up. I'm gonna show you with it all hooked up. Alright, see you soon. Oh, before I go and put it in, there was one more thing I had to do, and there's a blue and white wire. I had to unplug that from the loom, from the plug. It was going into this ISO plug, and so I had to, I took that out, and I just had to hook it up to this one actually. So no, it was this way, so that was in that plug there. I had to unhook it from that, and then I had to plug it straight into the main plug. So the blue one, you find the blue with the white, and where it plugs into the back here, you unplug it because it doesn't line up with anything in here that's correct. So then you just join those two manually, so that's soldered together. Join those two manually, so that that allows the amp, the factory Bose amp, to power up. Okay, so that was the only real tricky bit, I guess you'd call it. I didn't try it without doing that. I had read about that, so I just assumed it wouldn't work if that wasn't plugged in. So that cable there coming out of the stereo is actually for either that option to power an amp, or it's to power an electric aerial. So it basically just powers on when the stereo comes on. Okay, all right. Okay, so here we are, we've got it in, and so yeah, fit and finish is pretty good. It's not 100% as good as probably the factory, but yeah, not too bad. So what I forgot to mention too before is that so I hooked the USB input, which does a 1.5 amp hour charge rate. I hooked that in through the vent, and I put it coming out here. So if I've got my phone sitting on that mount, and I want to charge it, or I want to connect it wired Android Auto, but it would do that but so this can just come out of here. Before I had it, when I was charging, I had it plugged into there, but then the cable comes out and runs across everything and gets in the way of the shifter a little. So I decided just to tap into the side of that vent while the radio is out, and now I can pull that out, I can push it back in. If I don't want it, it can just sit there. So let's power on the radio. So this, because I've had it unplugged, this will be like plugging it in for the first time. It comes up with the initial settings. So demonstration, I just want to turn that off, and I'm going to leave the rest because I didn't have to touch any of those after I touched them the first time. So I'm going to go finish, and so that's the tuner. So if we press the home button, you can customize that as well, what you want up there. I've taken the there was a default, there was Android Auto, and there was what else was there? Obviously, yeah, Apple CarPlay. So I took that one off because I won't be using that. So that's connected with Android Auto at the moment. See, it doesn't take long to connect up. So I'm just gonna quickly, now if I turn the park lights on, what it does, it's quite cool. It turns the map dark, which I quite like, and I tend to run with my park lights on and my fogs on anyway, so I quite like that look a bit better. Now, yeah, that's right. So I was going to show you guys the I'll turn it on. I'll show you the reverse camera while I'm thinking about it. So your car's got to be on for that, and it obviously got to be in reverse. So then it just pops up, and I haven't set these lines yet. I can set up these lines, but that's something I'll do when I've got it lined up with something, an edge. So that's pretty sweet. It turns on really quick, pops back to where you were. So if I go home, so at the moment the steering wheel controls, let's go back to that, let's play. So those are working. And so I've got the mute set up, I've got the volume obviously set up, and I've set up this one for next track. And mode, what have I done with mode? Mode, I've set it to pause, but you can set that if you want to voice control or something. But I mean, there's a voice control button right there, or you can just say HEY Google, and it will come on anyway. So, but like I say, those are changeable. If we go to the settings and we go to system and we go down, so steering remote controller. Okay, so I'm gonna initialize this, and it's gonna wipe my controls, and I'm gonna show you how to do it. So initialize, so recall factory settings, yes. Okay, so now I've got to set it up. Steering remote controller set. So basically now this is the learning process. So I'll hold the volume up, and now it's registered that button. Now I want to tell it what I want that button to do. Volume up. Now I hold the volume down button. Same thing, volume down. Okay, so next one, next track, hold that up. So that's that one, and yeah, next, And so the mute button, and mute is called ATT, and the mode, so hold that. And now I wanted that for, you can have that for answer calls if you want as well, or you can pick any of these other things. I'm just going to put it on play pause. Answering call might be a good one if you're in the phone a long time, get lots of calls. So then done, and boom, you go back to home, play, and yeah, those are working like they should. Okay, next track, back. Alright, so that's pretty much working all like it should. Oh cool, so yeah, hey, I'll just go into here. You can set up your audio settings, equalizer, you can all go through all that, that's all good. I'll do that later. So now I'm just going to pop around to the back and show you the reverse cam, what I did on here. Okay, so at the back of this, oh, what do we got? Park lights on, turn those off. Okay, so in the space where that camera is, there was just this blank off, right? But then I had to make something, so this is just temporary for now. I measured it up, and it's just sort of a bit of double-sided tape holding that on. So that's just some laser cut pieces. So I'll probably, those are just MDF, I'll probably laser cut those in black acrylic. And this is just a tester. I had to build it down a little bit so that it wasn't too far up, so that seems to work pretty good. And then so I ran, need some cable ties on here. I ran it down, I ran it through and then back in through there, so I'm going to have to just put some sort of goop on that to seal it up again. And then I ran it basically down here, pulled off this panel, had the this panel off as well, and I had all that panel off there when I was hooking into the reverse light, so I ran that all the way through there while I was at it. So that was all good. Yeah, so she's gone pretty far, pretty cool, so no real issues. Need to put that trim back and we'll be good. Alright, cheers.